Imagine waking up one morning and feeling that everything around you has changed, but nothing outside truly has. The sky is the same, the streets are familiar, the people haven't shifted, but something deep within you feels different. A new fire, a sharper vision, an awareness that your mind is no longer a cage, it's a key. That is the moment your mindset begins to glow. You see, most people spend their lives believing that change is something that happens to them. They wait for a lucky break, a perfect opportunity, someone to notice them, or something to suddenly shift. But the truth is this: transformation doesn't happen when the world gives you permission. It begins when you take control of the world within you. When you stop seeing your mind as a battlefield and start using it as your greatest weapon. Transformation begins within. It's one of those truths that feels simple at first, but when you sit with it, when you really let it sink into your bones, you realize it's everything. The way you see yourself, the way you approach life, the way you respond to failure, to success, to discomfort, all of it stems from what's happening inside your mind. And that's where real change takes root. Not in the next big opportunity, not in someone else believing in you, not in a sudden stroke of luck. It begins the moment you stop waiting for something outside to fix what only you can shift inside. People often chase the wrong things. They look for external solutions to internal blocks. They think if they change their job, their relationship, their location, their circle, their appearance, that somehow everything will fall into place. And sure, sometimes change in the outside world can be a catalyst. But without the inner shift, that outside change won't last. It's like rearranging furniture in a house with a broken foundation. Eventually, everything falls apart again because the real issue was never addressed. When your mind is cluttered with doubt, fear, negative self-talk, and limiting beliefs, no amount of outside success will feel secure. You might get what you thought you wanted, but you'll sabotage it, question it, or feel unworthy of it. That's because the internal programming still runs the show. Until you rewire it, nothing really changes. This is why transformation must begin within. It's not optional, it's essential. But here's the powerful part: you have full control over this process. You're not at the mercy of your past. You're not stuck with the thoughts you grew up believing. You're not bound by the experiences that hurt you. You are the one who chooses what stays in your mind and what gets rewritten. That's where the glow begins, when you decide to become intentional about your thoughts. And this isn't some fluffy feel-good idea. It's rooted in neuroscience. The brain is wired for survival, not success. It holds on to fear in patterns because those patterns kept you safe once. But what kept you safe back then may now be keeping you small. Through awareness and repetition, you can change your internal story. You can literally rewire your brain to think in alignment with who you want to become, not who you used to be. Transformation from within means becoming the observer of your mind. Catching yourself when you spiral into doubt, challenging the voice that says you're not good enough, choosing a new belief even when the old one feels more familiar, and doing that again and again until the new becomes your default. That's not easy, it's uncomfortable, it's slow, but it's worth it. Because once your inner world is aligned, everything on the outside starts to shift in response. Your relationships change, not because others suddenly act better, but because you hold new standards. Your opportunities increase, not because luck magically appears, but because you show up with clarity, energy, and confidence that attracts momentum. Your entire life begins to reflect the power of your inner world. That is what it means when we say transformation begins within. It means you stop blaming, you stop waiting, and you start building from the core. This shift doesn't make life perfect, but it makes you powerful. And when you're powerful on the inside, there is nothing on the outside you cannot face. That's the real glow. Not the glow that fades when things go wrong, but the glow that holds steady because it's rooted in the one thing no one can take from you, your mind. Discomfort is not the enemy. It's the birthplace of every transformation, every breakthrough, every leap forward you've ever wanted. The truth is, people spend so much of their lives trying to avoid discomfort. They seek the easy route, the quick fix, the familiar routine. But growth doesn't happen where you're comfortable. Growth happens the moment you step into the unknown and decide to keep moving even when everything inside you wants to run. That's the paradox most people miss. The very thing you fear is the thing that will set you free. When you willingly choose discomfort, you're choosing to stretch your limits. You're training your mind to expand rather than contract. And in that process, something incredible happens. You start to realize that discomfort isn't pain, it's feedback. It's a signal that you've stepped beyond what's familiar. And that space between who you were and who you're becoming is exactly where the glow begins to intensify. Your mind starts to sharpen, your focus deepens, your confidence builds. You begin to collect small victories, and those victories compound, not because things got easier, but because you got stronger. Think about it. Every version of you that ever leveled up did it through something uncomfortable. The job you were scared to take, the conversation you didn't want to have, the workout that pushed you to your limit, the risk that made your heart pound. Those moments didn't break you, they built you. And every time you leaned into that pressure, your mind adapted. It grew more resilient, more capable. That's the secret. Your glow is the byproduct of every hard thing you refuse to run from. The people who glow the brightest are not the ones who had the smoothest path. They're the ones who stepped into discomfort again and again until discomfort became their comfort zone. They made peace with the unknown. They learned to trust themselves in chaos. And as a result, they walk with a presence that can't be faked. Because nothing strengthens a person like choosing growth when it's easier to retreat. That choice, repeated daily, is where the glow is forged. But let's be clear, discomfort doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet. It's waking up earlier when your bed is warm. It's saying no when your old self would have said yes. It's facing your insecurities without numbing out. It's staying consistent even when results aren't visible yet. These are the moments most people overlook, yet they're the exact moments that separate the committed from the comfortable. The more you train your mind to embrace these moments, the more you reshape your identity into someone who glows, not because life is easy, but because you've learned how to move through resistance. That's why discomfort is a gift. It shows you what matters. It reveals your blind spots. It pushes you into the spaces you were avoiding, and those are always the spaces where your next level lives. And when you understand this, you stop fearing hard things, you stop praying for easy days, you start welcoming challenge because you know that every ounce of pain is refining you, every uncomfortable step is pulling you closer to the person you're meant to be. A glowing mindset is not created in the light, it's built in the fire. It's built when you show up even though you're scared, when you keep going even when it's hard, when you stop chasing comfort and start chasing growth. That's when everything changes. Because the more discomfort you can handle, the more life you can experience, the more challenges you face, the more unstoppable you become, and the more you lean into that discomfort, the brighter you glow, not because life gets easier, but because you've become unbreakable. Your mindset is the lens through which you see the world, and that lens shapes everything: how you interpret events, how you react to adversity, how you handle success, how you treat others, and most importantly, how you treat yourself. The truth is, life doesn't happen to you in objective terms. Two people can go through the exact same experience and come out with two completely different outcomes. One becomes bitter, the other becomes better. One gives up, the other grows stronger. The difference isn't in what happened, it's in how the mind processed it. Mindset shapes reality. From the moment you wake up, your thoughts begin creating your experience. If you believe the day will be filled with problems, your brain will start looking for them. If you believe you're not good enough, every small failure will feel like confirmation. But when your mindset is empowered, your entire world opens up. You start seeing opportunity in setbacks, lessons in pain, and growth in every obstacle. You begin to understand that your external world reflects the quality of your internal world. It's not just what happens to you, it's how you choose to see it, interpret it, and respond. You've probably seen this in action without even realizing it. Think about someone who always seems to bounce back no matter what happens. They lose a job, and within days they're talking about new possibilities. They go through heartbreak, and instead of collapsing, they use it as fuel to rebuild. That's not luck, that's mindset. It's a trained ability to see challenges not as dead ends, but as doorways. They've trained their mind to believe in solutions, not just problems. And because of that, they move through life with a different energy, a glow that comes from within. Mindset isn't about ignoring reality or pretending things are fine when they're not. It's about choosing to respond in a way that moves you forward. It's about developing a mental filter that doesn't deny pain, but refuses to be defined by it. It's the difference between saying this is happening to me versus this is happening for me. That shift alone can change your entire life. Because when you believe life is working for you, even when it hurts, you stay open. open to learning, open to growth, open to becoming stronger. And the best part is your mindset is something you can change at any moment. You don't have to be stuck in old beliefs. You're not locked into your past reactions. Neuroplasticity proves that the brain can form new connections. That means you can train your mind to respond differently, but it takes awareness. You have to catch the old patterns when they show up. You have to challenge the voice that says you can't. You have to pause and ask, what would a powerful version of me do right now? That question alone can shift your energy. A strong mindset doesn't mean you never feel doubt. It means you don't let doubt drive your decisions. It doesn't mean you never get tired. It means you keep moving even when you are. And over time, this mental discipline becomes who you are. Not just someone who survives, but someone who thrives. Not just someone who reacts, but someone who creates. That's the power of mindset. It makes you the author of your life, not just a character in someone else's story. When you build a mindset that's strong, focused, and growth-oriented, you start to see that reality isn't fixed, it's fluid. It responds to your thoughts, your energy, your actions, and when your mind is glowing with belief, clarity, and purpose, the world begins to reflect that same light back to you. Not because life got easier, but because you got wiser. And once you shift your mindset, you shift your reality forever. Discipline is the bridge between who you are and who you want to become. It is the silent force that builds your glow brick by brick, even when no one is watching. While motivation is powerful, it is fleeting. It comes and goes with mood, energy, and emotion. But discipline is dependable. Discipline shows up when you don't feel like it. It works when your body is tired, when your heart is heavy, when the spark has faded. Discipline doesn't need to be inspired to act. It simply acts, and in doing so, it builds a mindset that glows from consistency, not just inspiration. Desire is loud, it burns fast, it pulls you toward goals with excitement and urgency. But without discipline, desire becomes wasted potential. So many people start strong, full of ambition and energy, only to fade out when the process gets boring, slow, or hard. They wait for motivation to return, not realizing that the real winners, the real warriors, the ones whose mindset glows with undeniable strength, they don't rely on feelings, they rely on habits. They understand that the daily, often unglamorous grind is where the glow is forged. Discipline is waking up early to train your body or your mind when your entire being wants to stay in bed. It's choosing a better habit when the easier one offers instant gratification. It's committing to your path even when no results are visible yet. It's saying, I'll do it anyway, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. And the more you make those decisions, the more your mind begins to transform. You start to believe in yourself on a deeper level, not because you've been lucky, but because you've shown yourself what you're made of. That self-trust is priceless. It becomes the foundation of your inner glow. You no longer need validation from others because your discipline has already proven your worth to yourself. Every time you show up despite resistance, you reinforce a new identity, one of strength, of resilience, of integrity, and slowly that identity replaces the old stories of doubt, inconsistency, and procrastination. You begin to expect more from yourself, and more importantly, you start to deliver on those expectations. But here's the truth, most people avoid. Discipline is not something you are born with. It's something you practice. No one is born with the natural ability to always do the hard thing. Discipline is built like a muscle, and it strengthens with repetition. The first few times it feels painful, but eventually the action becomes part of who you are. You don't think about whether or not to follow through, you simply follow through. That's when your glow becomes steady. That's when people start wondering how you stay so focused, so committed, so consistent. And the answer is simple. You stopped making decisions based on mood and started making them based on mission. Desire alone cannot carry you to your goals. It might get you started, but it will never sustain you. What sustains you is the inner structure of your discipline. And when your life is built on discipline, you gain a freedom that few people understand. You're no longer controlled by distractions, by fleeting cravings, by outside pressure. You become self-directed, self-motivated, self-powered. That is real power. That is real glow. And it's not something you can borrow or fake. It's something you earn, one disciplined decision at a time. So choose discipline over desire. Choose the long game over instant pleasure. Choose the quiet grind over the loud hype. Because in the end, it's not the dreamers who win, it's the doers. And the doers glow not because everything is easy, but because they keep going when it's hard. That is the difference. That is the glow. Your mind is your most valuable asset, and what you feed it determines how brightly your mindset glows. Just like your body responds to the quality of food you consume, your mind responds to the quality of information, energy, and influence you allow into it. Every voice you listen to, every message you read, every conversation you engage in, it's all fuel. It's either building you or breaking you. If you want to develop a powerful mindset that glows from the inside out, you must become ruthlessly intentional about your mental diet. It starts with awareness. Most people consume information on autopilot. They scroll through social media, absorb negativity from the news, laugh at toxic jokes, and engage in gossip without realizing it's all programming their mind. Every thought that enters your mind is a seed, and over time those seeds take root. If you constantly allow doubt, comparison, fear, and anger into your mental space, those thoughts will grow and shape your perception. They will make you second-guess your abilities, limit your dreams, and shrink your glow. It doesn't happen overnight, but it happens quietly, consistently, and destructively. The glow of a powerful mindset is not just created by doing the right things, it's protected by avoiding the wrong ones. Protecting your mental space means saying no to energy that pulls you away from your highest self. It means walking away from conversations that drain you. It means turning off the noise that tells you you're not enough. It means choosing content, people, and environments that pour into you rather than deplete you. This isn't about living in a bubble. It's about being selective with what you allow to influence your thoughts. Look at your environment right now. What are you watching? Who are you following? What are you listening to on your commute, during your workouts, in your quiet time? Are you feeding your mind with truth, strength, and possibility, or with fear, doubt, and distraction? Are the people in your life inspiring growth or encouraging mediocrity? Are your habits building a resilient mindset or slowly numbing your potential? These are not small questions. They are the foundation of your future, because your mindset becomes what you repeatedly expose it to. And here's the reality. Once you begin feeding your mind with greatness, everything changes. You start seeing through a different lens. You begin to expect more from yourself. You become hungrier, more focused, more determined. You start attracting better opportunities and better energy, not because the world changed, but because you did. When your mind is fueled with clarity, strength, and vision, you begin to reflect that in every word you speak, every decision you make, and every path you pursue. You are always being influenced, whether you're aware of it or not. The goal is to become conscious of that influence and then take control of it. Read books that expand you. Listen to voices that challenge you to grow. Watch content that reminds you of your power. Engage in conversations that uplift your spirit. Cut off noise that makes you feel small, stuck, or scared. This isn't about being perfect. It's about being aligned. Aligned with who you're becoming. Aligned with your glow. The mental diet of a glowing mindset is made up of discipline, curiosity, and alignment. It's built on daily habits of renewal. It's sustained by purpose, and it thrives in intentionality. So guard your mind with the same intensity you'd guard your dream. Because the quality of your glow will always reflect the quality of what you allow into your mind. You can't control everything around you, but you can absolutely control what you allow within you, and that control is not just power, it is freedom. That is how the glow survives. That is how it thrives. That is how it becomes unstoppable. You are the spark. You are not waiting to be chosen, discovered, validated, or rescued. The moment you understand that no one is coming to push you, to hand you permission, or to build your dream for you, that is the moment everything shifts. Too many people sit on the sidelines of their own lives, waiting for a perfect time, a sign from the universe, or someone else to believe in them before they take a step forward. But the truth is, the most powerful moment in your journey is when you stop looking outward and start igniting the fire within. There is something extraordinary inside you, but it can only come alive when you decide to activate it. No one else can flip that switch. People can support you, guide you, inspire you, but no one can do the internal work for you. You are the spark, you are the decision, you are the beginning of the momentum. And when you realize that everything you've been waiting for already exists within you, you stop hesitating, you start acting, you start becoming. This shift in mindset is not about arrogance. It's not about pretending you don't need anyone or anything. It's about owning your power. It's about understanding that your glow doesn't come from applause, approval, or attention. It comes from alignment. When your thoughts, actions, and beliefs are all working in harmony toward your purpose, the glow becomes visible, and it starts with you. The world reflects your energy. When you glow from within, the people, opportunities, and paths that match that energy begin to appear. Not because they suddenly existed, but because now you're finally tuned in to see them. The most dangerous mindset is one that waiting to feel ready, waiting for motivation, waiting until the fear goes away. But nothing in life works like that. Readiness comes from action, not the other way around. The more you move, the more capable you become. The more you act, the more confidence you build. You don't wait for the fear to disappear. You move in spite of it. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision that your purpose matters more than your comfort. Every person you admire, every story that inspired you, every hero you've looked up to, they all began with a decision to act. They didn't have a special guarantee, they didn't get handed a golden ticket, they simply chose to start. And the more they acted, the more their mindset grew. That's how the spark becomes a fire. That's how the fire becomes a glow. It's not one big moment, it's 1,000 small ones. It's saying yes to growth again and again, especially when it's hard. When you stop waiting, you take full ownership of your life. You no longer give your power away to circumstances, opinions, or outcomes. You become driven by values, not feelings, purpose, not pressure, vision, not validation. And from that place, you start to move differently. You start to think long-term. You start to show up consistently. And that consistency builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. Trusting yourself is the core of everything. When you believe that you will follow through, that you will figure it out, that you will rise no matter what, there is nothing more powerful, because then you don't need perfect conditions, you don't need everything mapped out. You simply need to remember you are the spark, you are the initiator, you are the reason things will begin to shift. The glow doesn't come from waiting, it comes from doing, from showing up, from owning your power, your truth, and your voice. No one else can do it for you. And when you truly grasp that, you don't just change your path, you ignite it. You create momentum where there was none. You inspire not only yourself, but everyone who sees your light. Because when you move with purpose, you give others permission to do the same. You light the way, not by force, but by being exactly who you are, the spark that starts the fire.